Good morning, everyone. This is Maysha with As Long as You're Breathing. I'm with one of my favorite playmates, Dianna Leeder, founder of Crave More Life, who's also a podcaster, an intuitive life hack, and confidence coach. And we're going to let her explain to us what all that stuff means. But what I think she's most proud of and what kind of sort of met her. I met her doing this actually, but the way I got to know her best was through the series of books that she's the lead author of course, the Find Your Voice, Save Your Life series, which is so freaking powerful. And that's kind of what we're here to talk about is writing and how it can help you. But Dianna, tell us all about all this stuff that you do, girl, and let everyone, the ones who don't know you, because everyone who follows me knows you, but so for the people that we're reaching that don't already know, let's tell everyone all about the magic that you do.
Absolutely. I love that. I like that magic word too. So first of all, thank you, Maysha, for having me on the show again. I really
Always,
appreciate it. And
always.
I love to play with you and I love to have fun with you. And we always have a giggle or two or three or four while we're here.
Or 20.
Yes, yeah, which is good. I love that part. So I call myself an intuitive life hack because I've been coaching for a long time, and I have worked primarily with women, although now I'm opening up my practice to men as well.
Yeah.
And one of the things that I have learned is that we can, we may have issues with our voice or, be unhappy with a certain area of our life. And that's why usually people come to a coach. But there's always that practical side that calls to me that says, okay, it's fine to have those issues and to talk to somebody about it. But if you don't get down to the nitty gritty about the relationship, the thing that's holding you back, if you don't go deeper, if you don't dig deeper, you're probably only going to touch the surface and not really get to what you need to get to in order to resolve things and get to where you want. So life hack for me is when I actually sit with somebody and we go through, if they say, well, I'm not so jazzed with that relationship with my mother-in-law, then that's where we go. Okay, so what's happening? What are the dynamics? How are you feeling about it? And then we bring it back to what we can do as individuals, because we have total responsibility for our experiences 100%. I will never go back on that. And we listen to ourselves and we pay attention to our own behavior, and we know what we need to do then to change that experience for us, whatever it is.
Right, because society has taught us that we have all these roles that we play. And that's the problem. That's backwards. Actually, we're supposed to get to know ourselves and then define ourselves in all of these roles, not let those roles define us. And so I know what you do is you have people go in and figure out, how do you want to show up? Who are you? And then look at all the roles that they're in, and then determine, hack those roles and distribute their energy across those roles in a way that works for them, so that the roles then become healthy for them, and that makes the relationships then healthy. Or perhaps you move on from the relationship, or the relationship dynamic changes or whatever, but then at least you're in a healthy place. And that's the kind loving thing to do for the other person too, actually. So
yeah.
So I love what you do. I absolutely love what you do. So you have a variety of ways that people can do that with you.
I do.
Yeah.
And that's a lot of what Maysha referred to this earlier. We're going to talk about writing. So, of course, the books are really important. And I'll tell you one of the reasons that as a lead, and I'll tell you a couple of the reasons that I do these books. And one is that I want to give people who have a story a platform to write that story, and have it published. And I say those separately because there are layers to the healing that happens when we write. First of all, when we write, you peel another layer of healing, that you need.
Yes.
When you publish too, and then when your mom reads it, and all those things are different layers. So that's an awesome. I love those books. I absolutely adore them, and I love that people then can read them and they can learn something from your story, and then take it and integrate it however they need in that particular moment in time for them. So I love that part. But I want to get to the people who don't want to be published, are not ready to be published, or maybe they'll never be ready to be published, and that's fine.
Absolutely.
But I want everyone to know that expressing yourself in whatever way you can, maybe my thing is writing, maybe yours is painting or whatever, but in terms of writing, I want everybody to be able to have access to understanding how to do that in a very safe place with other people who are looking for the same kind of support and compassion that you are. So that's what we're here for, is to talk about my new program. Well, it's not a new program actually, but I'm repeating this program, Writing for the Heel of It, I call it.
I love that name. Of course, you're always so clever with, and we're kind of colorful with how we say things, and so that is just so perfect. Writing for the heel of it.
Yeah.
And one thing, people should not be intimidated by the fact that they're writing, because it really is about the healing. It really is about the getting everything out, of course. But so why don't you tell us exactly what is writing for the heel of it?
So first and foremost, it is getting what's in there out. So I think we all kind of, wherever we are now today, we all know what's inside of us that's kind of churning, that we need to release, that we need to express. And it could be something, traumatic from years ago. It could be something that happened yesterday. Either way, you will know if it's something you need to express. And I want to touch on the fact that, there are traumas that are very, very deep and ancestrally connected, and, very, very deep, that are probably going to be require or need the support, more support than this particular group. But you will know that. You will know if there's something in you that you need to express, and how you need to express it. So that's what we do. We write about what we're called to. And my job as a coach is to help you pull that forward as much as you are able and ready to, so that you don't kind of leave those corners. There's always, it makes me think of that statement, when you say to somebody, well, how are you? I'm fine. How really are you? What's underneath fine, and why are you limiting yourself by fine?
Well, one, because society, when they ask that question, nobody really wants to know, or that's what we think, because that's so. So people say, "How are you?" And when you see the people who are really hurting, those are the ones who tend to answer, "Oh, I'm fine." Really.
Yeah.
Just, oh, I'm fine, or they've really got it down to where it's over the top fine. And I know I was really good at that. Oh, I'm fine, and laugh, and I usually had a joke that went with it, and all of those things. Coming from chronic pain and invisible illness world, I made, well, at one point I made sure, and then I got a whole lot more honest. But
because when you go there, if you actually said that or voice that to anyone, it's gonna be hard. It's gonna, that place is uncomfortable. You didn't like that experience. It didn't serve you. So it's uncomfortable. You don't want to go there. So my job is to help you go there in a very loving, supportive way. And again, being very respectful of what you're ready to do when you're ready to do it. So am I gonna, I like to say that we kick some ass in this group. Am I gonna do one of these and offer you places that I can see you need to go, and I will do that intuitively too. I can read people, so I will offer you places where you can go to be able to say what it is you're ready to say, or that little bit of what you're ready to say. I'll try to help you open up. That's my job. Plus, the other women in the group will be, and this is a group for women, the other women in the group, they're there for the same reasons. So, everybody has a cheering section, go ahead, honey.
So the group, they actually, do they share their stories openly with one another? Is that, oh, okay. So go
We
ahead.
do. Yeah, we share them. We read them. So you get a little bit of writing coaching at the same time, because a lot of, a lot of it is just getting it out. Right.
Just
Um,
purging, just
just
purging.
purging. Yeah. Yeah. I call it vomiting. Yeah. So same thing.
Yeah.
And that's really important. We need to do that. Absolutely. But I want to give you, I want you to be able to leave with some additional skills that will make you a better writer as well, because we have the opportunity. We're right there. So let's do it. So yeah, we share the stories among each other, and yeah, we offer feedback. We, in terms of support, everybody is super supportive, again, because they are in that same boat and they want to, they're releasing their own stuff. So it becomes a very tight, supportive group.
So it's journaling way on steroids, because it's you're purging everything. You have you there to intuitively guide and coach. You have support group to lean on and to help, and all of those things. And you become a better writer in the process, which can never hurt, and with the possibility of ending up in a book. So if that's where you want to go with it.
Yeah, exactly. It kind of primes you to be able to go further if that's what you choose to. Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
Wow.
that's it. Yeah.
That's just one or two things there that
So,
might, yeah, just a little thing. So,
yeah.
so what? Go
Something you
ahead.
said earlier was really, I wanted to circle back to. Maybe it was before we got on camera, but about things that we, things like chronic pain,
Yeah.
things that are really difficult to manage because they're not necessarily things that we can make go away.
Yeah.
But there's, there is that level that that is about, first of all, what we're ready to engage in, and as I talked about, and secondly, there is that level about what we have made that circumstance that is right in front of us that we can't change, what we have made that mean about us,
Oh my gosh,
which is,
girl,
yeah,
deep. What we have made that mean about us.
yeah,
What we have let that how we have let that define
yes,
our role in the world.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah, yeah, and chances are it's not going to be good, right?
Yes.
Right? Hell
Big,
yes, I have a chronic disease. Yeah, no, yeah,
big, big chance. Big
yeah.
chance.
But if if you can release enough, even
Yeah.
just a little bit, the closer you can get to that place where I'm whole, and I'm wonderful as I am, and yes, I happen to have a chronic illness.
Right. And so much of the time, especially with the chronic pain invisible illness world, it's you don't know whether to tell people you have it or you don't. So that's something that you have to work through.
Mhm.
And writing about it is an amazing way to do that. Often writing about it is a way people will first start outing themselves, is they will write about it first. And so this would be an amazing program for that. And I can speak to that because that's how I first started doing it. It was, I wrote about it.
Yeah.
And then but it's becoming more and more acceptable to talk about things like fibromyalgia, chronic fatigue, those things. People are talking about those more, but we're not talking so openly about things like the comorbidities that go with it, like vulvodynia, those things, which are, oh my God, you said that word in public. Yes, because those are the things that are privately debilitating, that impact your life in a way that you need to deal with, because talk about affecting roles in your life, and so those are things that we need to be able to work through too, and we need to be able to find our voice about, because until we find our voice, and we're even, I know that for me personally, it wasn't until I was able, and I'm a nurse, okay, and we said so little about it in school, until I was able to write the word down, literally write it, not type it, write it down.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't able to deal with the fact that that was the pain that I was feeling, and that I had to find a doctor, look them in the eye. And at that time, all of my doctors were male. and say, okay, you have to do something about this. And
Mhm.
it wasn't until I found a female doctor actually that anything was done about it. And so, but it took writing it, literally writing the word. And here I was, I'm a healthcare professional, not shy, been speaking openly about my
Not
health for
shy.
years, not a bit shy, been speaking openly about my health for years. And yet it took writing it down, and something I did very much alone. I went through that very much alone. And so I could see where a program like yours, because journaling alone for something that private and that taboo in the world, and that, oh, how do I face this, because you face something like that very much alone. Even talking to the person that you most in the world need to talk to it about, you don't even know how to do that. So I could see for the chronic pain invisible illness world, for any type of issue along those lines, not just emotional issues or traumas, but for physical things, the world that I was in for so many years, I could see where this program would be amazing to help people in that space.
Awesome. Yeah, I think so too. It's not like we can go back and remove, that illness or that experience,
Right.
that history. We can't take that away, but we can learn to release what we need to, and in that way we learn to manage it that much better for us. We feel better about it.
Well, and I think the other thing too is you've used the word release, and we are now understanding so much that, while Western medicine may be sometimes hands completely tied on the issues, which for years they were with vulvodynia and fibromyalgia and chronic pain and chronic pain syndrome and all of those things. Even now they have more things for it, but when we understand the energy side of it and releasing, which is what you're talking about, when you put, it's not either or, but it's both. When you put those two together, they become supportive. When you work with them in an integrated way, then you do have so much more quality of life. And then that's when you find who you are, and you can start defining yourself, like, instead of those things wrong with you defining who you are, you start defining who you are in spite of those things. And so it goes back to what we were talking about in the very beginning. Instead of it being what's your role with your mother-in-law, it's and how is your mother-in-law in that relationship defining you, it's what is your role with the fact that you have this illness, or what is your role with the fact that you have
Yes.
this pain condition. It is, how are you defining your life in spite of that. And
Yeah.
so you're in charge of that. And
Yeah.
there's
What's your relationship with your illness?
right. What is your
Absolutely.
relationship with it?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you know what I want to point out too, that finding your voice is all about relationships, right?
As is everything. Absolutely.
Yes, we are in relationship everywhere, with
Yes.
everything, with our cat, with our coffee, with our pillow in our on our bed that we choose, everything. It's not
Right.
just about people. It's not just about the intimate relationships. It's everything in the world. So it's important to know enough about us to be able to express what we need. And if we're blocked, if there's something there that just says, "Ooh, no, I can't go there,"
Can't go there.
right? Then then there's something in here that sorry, I'm going down up here. Then there's something inside that is not a need, that is not being it's not being addressed. It's not being met. And then that is, that's frustrating. It's sad. It's all kinds of things that are not supporting of who we are and don't serve us at all.
And then those things that all it spills over into the rest of our lives.
Mm-hmm.
We think that we compartmentalize all of this stuff. We think, okay, that's one area of my life that maybe I'm not handling as well, but I've got that contained, and it's not affecting anything else. Or maybe it's affecting a little, but I've got it contained, kind of like the wildfires when they contain the wildfires. Well, we know even when something is contained, there's always residual effects from it. And so we don't want to just contain things. We want to deal with them. And that's what this
Mhm.
allows you to do. It's writing for the deal of it too, so you can deal with things and heal
That's
from
right.
it. Deal and heal,
Good
so
one. I like that. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. It's early, but I did have coffee, so
I did not.
oh my gosh. So
Yeah.
yeah, so we can deal with them.
Yeah.
So we are actually not because that's what we tend to do. We tend to try to compartmentalize things, tell ourselves we've got this under control when we don't want to have it under control. We want to actually be living and progressing and moving on with our lives and thriving. We want to thrive in spite of. We don't even want it to be, we don't want it to even be an in spite of. Okay, so it's here, but I'm thriving with it, along with it anyway, whatever. And it may even be something that that we can even change. If we look at it, we may even be able to change it. Things that we've things that we thought were untouchable, things that we thought were there's nothing I can do about that.
Yeah.
Oh, I love whenever we hack things that we thought there's nothing I can do about that, and then we realize that the only person who could have done anything about it ever was us.
Absolutely.
Us.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I did a vlog the other day about getting your ducks in a row, and I said, "Don't wait to get your ducks in a row. You're the only duck you control." so, so you just keep going, and then the other ducks will fall in behind you because you're the only duck you control.
It's true, true. That's a really good description. I can picture these little ducks waddling and one being well, way out in the front. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's so true. It's so true.
yeah,
We can't wait for other people to fix anything for us.
right.
We can't expect that circumstances will just change on their own because they won't.
No, they don't.
They won't. But we do have that, and I know a lot of people shy away from the word power, but I like to call it power because we have that power. We have that energy inside us
The
to do
energy
that.
inside of us. Yes, I
Yeah.
think it's when we define what the power is, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And if we don't define what it is that is going on in a situation, we may leave the situation and then find that we just recreated it somewhere else.
Right.
And so that's why we have to make that change. That's why we have to define and figure out what it is that we need to release and make that change. And
Yeah.
so we don't just go from situation to situation thinking that's what we needed to change, where the parameters of the situation, but we're not making the core change. We're not identifying what's at the core of it all, which is within us.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So how does someone join this program, work with you? How does all of this
Yeah.
come together?
Okay. So, is there anywhere that I can leave a link?
You tell
Yeah.
me what it is and
Can I
I'll
do
put it
that?
in here.
Okay. It's kind of long, so maybe I'll just yeah. Okay. I'll tell you later. Maybe can we do that later?
Yeah, I can put it in
Okay.
the comments later. Absolutely.
Okay. Well, can I send it to you now, I guess, is my question. And I'm sorry, everybody, we should have figured this out before, but we didn't.
Normally I have those kinds of things, and so I can't imagine
Uh,
that I don't have it. Yeah.
well, Maysha was
Um,
really, really nice and said last night, let's do this. Yes, let's do
Yeah,
this.
let's do this. Yeah, we came up with it last night. Yeah, I'll put it in the comments later. Yeah, but it's at your Crave More Life website, right?
It's there and it is, I think probably the best thing to do, I'm just trying to
Uh-huh.
find this now, is to find me. So Dianna, Dianna at cravemorelife.com. You can email me. I can, you know what, and I don't know whether this is gonna work. I'm gonna put that link in the chat. I don't know whether that'll work.
Yeah, I
Anyway,
got
it's a private chat, so maybe that won't work. But at least you
I
have it.
got it. I got it.
So
Yeah.
yeah, and actually, so just I don't want to repeat a whole thing of the entire link because there are, dash and then this and then that, and so I don't want to
Mhm.
mess that up for you. So yes, just email me and I will send you the link. And know that we start next week. We go for 2 hours a week for 6 weeks, with possibly, the possibility of an extension after that, if it's something that the group needs. So yeah, 6 weeks, 2 hours. Wednesdays we're doing at noon. We are recording on the approval of the entire group once we get started, because we get really personal. It's
Right. Right.
It's not something you want everybody to see, but once we meet in a group and we, know that we can trust that group, then, the group can give me permission to be able to record and then send to people who can't attend a specific meeting, so that they can just continue on if they just can't do one. So there's a payment plan. You don't have to
Okay.
pay it all up in one shot. You can pay in 2 over the 6 weeks. And I'm very flexible about that stuff because I don't, I wouldn't want anybody not to do this because they simply didn't have exactly the money that they needed to in that particular moment.
Sure.
So know that, and make sure when you email me, you can express that in whatever way, or after you see the write-up of the actual the program itself.
Okay,
Yeah.
wonderful, wonderful. And yeah, I had no problem getting the link and putting it over, so it's there. So
Cool.
we have the link out there.
Oh, excellent. Thank you.
Yes, yes, it's there. Yeah, and you can tell it's early. So I had coffee, but I didn't think about the link.
I didn't either, and I'm not so good with StreamYard, so yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yet.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you have this going on, but you also have a book getting ready to come out too. So you want to talk just a few minutes. We have like 4 minutes left. So you want to talk about
Yes.
this amazing book, which branches out to include the men.
Yes. So, of course, this is Find Your Voice, Save Your Life 4. The other 3 have been published over the last couple of years. Maysha has written in 2 of them, which is awesome.
Maysha's trying to move so you can see there's one of them behind her.
Oh, yeah, you see it, yeah, right down the bottom. And yes, beautiful, beautiful books, and really, they really capture the essence of the journeys of people who have, women and now men, who have lost their voices. So this one is called Find Your Voice, Save Your Life 4 Transcendent Men Real Stories. So transcendence has a whole bunch of definitions where this is concerned, because
Yes.
as Maysha well knows, I'm the practical girl, right? I love my magic. I love her magic. And I know that that's such an amazing part of our lives that, we absolutely need to tap into. But I also know that there are people who are not tapped into it, and that practical then becomes really important. So for me, it's when we talk about transcendence, and rising up, which is what it really means to me, it's the rising up really out of the muck of things, or our social influences that kept us down, or
Yes.
the parent who wasn't able to show up for us in a healthy way when we were kids, whatever it was, the abusive partner, or the illness, whatever it was, right?
Right.
And we transcend it, and we can do that in a spiritual way, which is amazing. So that to me is finding your voice. When you have brought yourself up out of the muck enough that you can identify what you actually need, and then you express that in whatever way you can, whether it's voice, whether it's writing, painting, whatever it is. Well, I always say, we express ourselves by the clothes that we wear. We know that Maysha's got a little bit of fire to her, a little bit of animal to her, because she loves that animal print, and I love that too.
I know, yeah. We both do the animal print thing. So
we do, yeah. So all that stuff is really important, and that's what these guys are talking about. So they're talking about their experiences with, and they're just writing now, which is really cool.
I know, yes, I know. I'm having one sent to me to read. So.
Oh, cool! Yeah, and I can guess which one. Yeah, awesome. So we're going to be able to read their stories, their journeys with transcendence. What was it that was the big thing in their life that they finally said, I don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to be this person anymore. And then, of course, beyond, went past that to transcend to a place where they are good with who they are, and they're expressing themselves as they choose to. And I cannot tell you that the number of men in this book who are different. And I can see this time is running out, so I don't.
No, you're good. You're good. We don't have a true cutoff time.
Oh, good. Okay, so I cannot tell you the number of men in this book who operate differently. They are in that place of unconditional love, of they look for the love in things. I get little
Yeah.
heart emoji, and I say this kind of I kid
I
about it,
know.
but it's really meaningful.
Yes.
I get little heart emojis after they send messages, like it's I get thank you all the time. I get beauty, and not that women don't do that. Women do that all the time, and maybe I just expect it, and
Right.
men maybe I don't expect it from men, so it's been a real learning thing for me too. But it is beautiful because they're operating from their heart
Right.
instead of from the typical um, traits of a masculine man as we would think about them in society these days.
Which is
Yeah.
such an unfair place that they got put, because masculinity is so much, it's without the gentleness and the strength.
Yeah.
The gentleness and the strength is what transcendence is. Gentleness
Yes.
and strength is
Yes. And
transcendence.
that's where they are. They have brought those two things together,
Right.
and they are operating from their heart. It's not that
Yeah.
they don't do all the other things that are, part of the divine masculine. It's not like they don't care for their family and are protectors
Oh
and,
yeah, they're the guys. Yeah,
strong.
they're the
Yeah.
guys. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
But they also have that feminine, the divine feminine that has come in as well. And yes, I believe that is true transcendence. That's when the two come together. Yeah.
right. And as far as the practical goes, so many people who don't understand necessarily. Oh, we froze. Oh, there you are. Okay, you're back.
Oh, sorry.
So many people who don't understand, perhaps, or think they don't understand our world. Our world is very practical, because all we're talking about is awareness. That's all we're talking about is just awareness. You'll hear people talk about 1111, or seeing numbers or signs or everything. They're there for all of us. It's just awareness. And
Mhm.
that's all transcendence is when you allow yourself to be open to possibility, and you make yourself aware, and or allow yourself to be aware. It's always been there. And for men, I remember when we first started talking about this, back when we first started talking, you're like, I've been approached about a men's book, or thinking about a men's book. And I'm like, there's not enough out there for men, because there's so many men who actually in their heart are transcendent, who do want to be out in the public this way, but they get chastised or criticized, or it's not okay with their dads or their brothers, or the guys at work or whatever, and they need that support. They need women stepping up and saying, no, these are the manly men. This is the
Yeah.
manly man right here, the
Yeah.
one who is gentle and strong publicly, the one who is not afraid, the one who doesn't have to do it behind closed doors when nobody's around, and quietly and all of that, but who is publicly and unashamedly and unabashedly, this is who I am.
Yeah.
And so I am so glad that this book is coming out. And so
Me
thank
too.
you for doing book 4. Thank you so much.
Oh my goodness. Thank you for letting me talk about it. Yeah, it's a real gift, and it's going to be a gift to the community for
Oh yeah.
sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to it. So publishes in August.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can look
Yeah.
for them. I'm sure maybe Maysha will bring me back on to talk about it. What is
Bring
it?
you back on. Are you kidding? I know that I know you're going to have a launch party, but I can tell you now, I know a certain new place that is going to have one heck of a launch party for you as well. Because
Yay!
yes, because
Yay!
absolutely. I mean, this is going to be an amazing book, and it's amazing. It's an amazing thing. Just like all the things you do, because Crave More Life, it started out, you were giving women a place to have their voice back when women were not using their voice many years ago. And in a way, when we didn't have the World Wide Web, when we didn't have all the ways for people to know. And then as that opened up and you've come online and you found the world of publishing and all of that, then there's the Find Your Voice, Save Your Life books, and all the work you do there. And now you are available online to work with people. And now writing for the heel of it, and of course now the men's book, and and you're just going to keep going and going and going, and of course I'm going to keep bringing you out and showing you off and all of those things, because well, you are magical. And so thank you so very much for telling everyone what you do.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for the kind words, and for having me back again. I much appreciated, and I love to have fun with you. So yeah.
Yeah, I know. So now we both need coffee again.
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
sounds good.
all right. So, everyone, the information is over here. And of course, I will have it down in the description box as well, not just the comment area. And do reach out to Dianna. I've been in on many things with her, and her gifts are just amazing. And working with her is also amazing. And I know this is an amazing opportunity for each of you. So thank you, Dianna, and thank you all. And thank you for the person who joined us this morning, too. It was wonderful to have you with us. And until then, as long as you're breathing, you all do it in great big capital